The Renaissance was a time of great change and discovery. It was a time when people began to question old beliefs and to look at the world in new ways. This included the way they thought about dragons. In the Middle Ages, dragons were often seen as real creatures. They were feared as monsters and were often associated with the devil. However, during the Renaissance, people began to see dragons in a different light. They were still seen as powerful and dangerous creatures, but they were also seen as symbols of strength, wisdom, and even good fortune. This change in perception was due in part to the rediscovery of classical literature. The ancient Greeks and Romans had written about dragons, and their stories were rediscovered during the Renaissance. These stories helped to shape the way people thought about dragons. Another factor that contributed to the changing perception of dragons was the rise of science. As scientists began to study the natural world more closely, they began to question whether dragons could really exist. The Enlightenment was a period of great intellectual and scientific progress. It was during this time that natural history emerged as a distinct field of study, with scholars meticulously documenting and classifying the natural world. One of the key principles of the Enlightenment was a commitment to reason and empirical evidence. Natural historians of the 18th century, armed with this new understanding of the world, turned their attention to the dragon. They scoured ancient texts, examined travelers' tales, and consulted local folklore, all in search of evidence to support the existence of these mythical beasts. However, despite their best efforts, they found none. There were no verifiable sightings, no physical remains, and no credible accounts that could withstand the scrutiny of scientific inquiry. The conclusion was clear. Dragons, as depicted in myths and legends, did not exist. This realization marked a turning point in our understanding of dragons. They were no longer seen as real creatures that roamed the earth, but were relegated to the realm of myth and folklore. The burgeoning field of paleontology during the 19th century provided further evidence against the existence of dragons. Fossils, the preserved remains of ancient life, offered a glimpse into Earth's distant past. Scientists discovered a bewildering array of extinct creatures, from towering dinosaurs to tiny insects, all preserved in stone. However, despite the abundance of fossil evidence for other fantastical creatures, there was a conspicuous absence of any remains that could be definitively attributed to dragons. No skeletons with elongated necks, no wings with bony supports, no fire-breathing apparatus. None of the hallmarks of these mythical beasts ever materialized in the fossil record. The absence of such evidence further solidified the scientific consensus that dragons, as described in myths and legends, were not real creatures. The fossil record, a testament to the history of life on Earth, remained stubbornly silent on the existence of dragons. And while the fossil record debunked the existence of dragons as literal creatures, it did offer a tantalizing possibility. Could the discovery of dinosaur bones have inspired ancient tales of dragons? The similarities between these prehistoric behemoths and mythical beasts are striking. Dinosaurs, like dragons, were enormous reptiles that dominated their respective ecosystems. They possessed fearsome teeth and claws, and some even sported bony plates and spines that could have easily sparked the imagination. It's plausible that early humans, stumbling upon the remains of these extinct giants, might have interpreted them through the lens of their own mythology, giving rise to tales of dragons. The discovery of large dinosaur skeletons could have easily inspired awe and fear, leading to their incorporation into stories and legends. The image of a colossal reptilian skeleton, its jaws agape as if frozen in a silent roar, could easily be transformed into the mythical dragon, a creature of immense power and majesty. Section 5. A World of Dragons from East to West. Dragon myths are not confined to a single culture or geographic location. They appear in the folklore and mythology of cultures around the world, from the serpentine dragons of European lore to the feathered serpents of Mesoamerica and the benevolent sky dragons of East Asia. In Europe, dragons are typically depicted as fire-breathing, winged creatures with a penchant for hoarding treasure and terrorizing villages. They are often portrayed as malevolent forces, representing chaos and destruction. In contrast, Chinese dragons are often associated with good fortune, wisdom, and power over the elements, particularly water. They are seen as benevolent beings, guardians of the natural world. These diverse cultural interpretations of dragons suggest that the concept of a powerful serpentine creature may be a universal archetype, one that has resonated with humans across time and cultures. Whether they are seen as fearsome beasts or benevolent guardians, dragons continue to captivate our imaginations. Section 6. Dragons in storytelling, myth and meaning. Despite their lack of existence in the natural world, dragons have played a significant role in human storytelling for millennia. They populate myths, legends, and folk tales, serving as both antagonists and allies, symbols of power and destruction, wisdom and chaos. In some cultures, dragons are monstrous adversaries, embodying the dangers of the unknown or the destructive forces of nature. They challenge heroes, test their courage, and often require cunning or sacrifice to defeat. In other cultures, dragons are benevolent guardians, protectors of sacred places or sources of wisdom. They may aid heroes on their quests, offering guidance or magical assistance. The enduring presence of dragons in our stories speaks to their symbolic power. They represent the untamed forces of nature, the potential for both creation and destruction, and the challenges and triumphs of the human spirit. Whether feared or revered, dragons continue to fascinate and inspire us. Section 7. The limits of legend, science and dragons. While the romantic allure of dragons persists, it's important to acknowledge the boundaries between myth and reality. Science, with its emphasis on empirical evidence and verifiable observations, plays a crucial role in grounding our understanding of the natural world. In the case of dragons, the scientific consensus is clear. There's no credible evidence to support their existence as depicted in myths and legends. The laws of physics, the principles of biology, and the fossil record all point to the conclusion that fire-breathing, flying reptiles are not and never were part of our planet's natural history. However, this doesn't diminish the cultural significance of dragons or the enduring power of their stories. Myths and legends, while not literal accounts of history, offer valuable insights into the human psyche, our fears, aspirations, and our relationship with the natural world. Section 8. The enduring allure of dragons. Despite the lack of scientific evidence, the allure of dragons persists. They continue to captivate our imaginations, appearing in books, movies, video games, and art. Their image adorns everything from tattoos to national flags, a testament to their enduring appeal. Perhaps it's their blend of reptilian features with fantastical abilities, their association with power and mystery, or their capacity for both destruction and benevolence that continues to fascinate us. Whatever the reason, dragons remain a potent symbol in our collective consciousness. Their enduring presence in our cultural landscape speaks to the power of imagination and storytelling. Dragons, though mythical, offer us a lens through which to explore our fears, hopes, and the boundless possibilities of the human experience. Section 9. Conclusion: Dragons in the realm of imagination. The journey from the Renaissance to the modern era has seen dragons transformed from potentially real creatures to firmly mythical beings. The rise of science, particularly the development of natural history and paleontology, played a crucial role in this shift in understanding. While the scientific consensus is clear, fire-breathing, flying dragons never existed as depicted in myths and legends. This doesn't diminish their cultural significance. Dragons continue to capture our imaginations, populate our stories, and serve as potent symbols in art, literature, and popular culture. Their enduring presence in the human psyche speaks to the power of imagination, the allure of the unknown, and the timeless appeal of stories that explore the boundaries between reality and myth. While dragons may not roam the physical world, they continue to soar through the boundless realms of our imagination.